Greetings, my very good friend.
Yeah.
I love being here. There's so much going on right now.
Really?
So, oh God, yeah. In so many different levels. It's just absolutely incredible. And I keep coming back as I learn so much more. There's so many different dynamics that I'm finding out about myself that is just incredible. You know, the first land cruise that I ever came, it was the first actually kind of a cruise, happened to be on land, that I ever came to. It was in Cancun. And there you had shared the experience, and it's interesting that this land cruise has started off the same way. That, orgasm is like instant alignment. And my question the following time we had a land cruise is about, if you have multiple orgasms, you can get multiple alignment going on a few different topics.
Well, that is sort of what we were talking about just now. Let's call it convergence. Let's call it convergence of the physical you and the non-physical you in a poignant moment where you allow yourself a realization that is beyond what you know. In other words, you just don't walk around all day having orgasms.
Yeah.
But when you do, it is noticeable.
Very much so, and I love that.
And you don't walk around all day having those kind of incredible peak experiences. But if there are enough of them...
Yeah,
yes.
I call it Process 23, and it's one of my favorites. I'm trying to be a good uplifter that I am. I try to help Deborah as much as possible, have multiple alignment on a variety of different topics as frequently as possibly can. And there's a lot of questions that came up during this early part of this conference, and it's been really cool because it just made me think about so many different things. And the first gentleman that was up there, and he's talking about, well, young men like to have orgasms a lot. Well, I got some really good news. So does old men, And it's really cool because 60 is like the new 40 and 50 is like the new 30, and it's really great. And how often do you want them? And the other thing about being follically challenged, if I can't remember yesterday, it's been too long. It just gets better and better. And then your other question was sort of like, when you're talking about that we don't need to be here because we have our own alignment. We don't need to come and meet an infinite wisdom master like yourself, Abraham. And I'm sitting there going, yes, I do. And it's like, why are we here? And keeping with the theme of the topic, it's sort of like that I come here because the energy's so cool and so powerful. It's sort of like going to an orgy. You feel good when you leave, but you don't know who did it to you. And it's really kind of great. I get tapped in, tuned in, turned on. I am alive. I am well. And this kind of leads me to the question that I heard in Fiji. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I yelling? In Fiji, you mentioned about mental orgasms. And the immediate thought was, oh, that sounds cool. I never had one of them. And, it just kind of like blows my mind. I was like, wow, and I want one. And so...
Well, unlike you, at that time, we weren't talking incessantly about sex.
Oh. Well, that's okay. It sounds like fun anyway. I'm glad you gave me clarity on that because my resistance came is like, oh, don't tell Deborah.
What we're talking about is convergence. What we're talking about is being in the receptive mode and allowing yourself in your openness to be the receiver of broader perspective. You see, when you understand that law of attraction is about momentum, they're almost the same words. And we talked about yesterday about how when you focus a thought for about 14 and a half seconds now, we used to say 17, it's speeding up rapidly. When you focus on something for about 14 and a half seconds, then another thought like it will join it, and then another, and then another, and then another. So as you think of yourself as a singular focuser, which you never really are, but you get the sense of what we're talking about. You're sitting by yourself, you're contemplating something, you are enjoying the thoughts of it, and you are not introducing resistance into the subject. You're not distracting yourself by things that contradict it. You're allowing the thought to flow. That's why Napoleon Hill thought that that was a good chapter to write in that book, because there's less distraction usually on that subject for most people than any other subject. In other words, you become sort of single-minded on that subject. But let's take any subject that you're sitting as an individual and contemplating. And so law of attraction is causing the momentum of that thought to become more and more and more. Well, eventually that thought gathers enough momentum that then there is a joining of others into the stream. And when that happens, there is always an impetus to the thought that is noticeable. So when you are in alignment with who you are, and source is flowing through you, and you can tell that, but then you allow a specific thought to gain some momentum within you, because you are the creator of your own reality. In other words, you are here to contemplate, you are here to guide thought. We've been talking a lot about getting into the receptive mode and let yourself be the receiver of the thought. So that's a very important platform to begin from. But once you are in that mode of allowing yourself to be the receiver of thoughts, then the thoughts that are occurring to you that are coming from all kinds of other places cause a sort of explosion, so that there are those momentous experiences where it's more than just your thought, it's a convergence of thought. So that's why a gathering like this is satisfying, because there are many who are here who are open. Everyone has their own cadre of non-physical beings who are with them. You think this room is filled to the brim with human flesh, blood, and bone, but the energy field of this room is indescribable, as each of you have brought with you who you really are. As we are visiting here from the platform, everyone else is to one degree or another also receiving. And so what you're really enjoying when you come together as a group is the convergence of more thought. And what's particularly nice when a number of people get together who have been listening, who are willing, who understand the basics of the laws of the universe, who care about how they feel, and who have been enjoying themselves in a variety of ways, and so they are in a place of more receptivity than usual. It allows a convergence of non-physical and physical that does take thought and understanding beyond that which it has been before. And it is more than a auditory or verbal experience that you're having, because on a vibrational level it's more of the practicing of the feelings of alignment. And so we understand that's why you come to a gathering like this. This is why you crave it or want more of it. But we always want to make sure that you are also understanding that you have access to all of this if you are one person standing in a room by yourself. You have access to all of this if you are walking in a desert or in a forest where there are no other beings around that you can even see. You do not need to come together in numbers in order to have that kind of convergence. Now, in a physical sense, for the purpose of continuing your population, for the purpose of pleasure, for the purpose of continuing your recognition of the value of who you are, of course it is divine to come together with others and to have those experiences. But we would like to put this topic in the same category with all topics. Let's not let it stand out in some way that makes it seem that it is different than every other topic, because there is an orgasm within every conversation. There is an explosion within every coming together on any point. There's that energy point where it goes just beyond what is me, or just beyond what is me and you. It goes beyond, 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 beyond. And that's really what we're wanting you to take away from all of this. We want you to seek pleasure in any ways that you can find pleasure. We're not wanting to put any lids on anything. We just want you to understand the vibrational source energy orgasm.